Camps. He is the BYU Sports Camp Administrator, Vince Stroud. Vince, it is so wonderful to have you back on this program because summer camps are back after the COVID hiatus. We are thrilled. I can't imagine how you were feeling, but just in your words, what type of effort did it take to get this back and running after an unexpected pandemic?
Wow, that's a great question. First, yeah, I am so thrilled. It is awesome to be back doing sports camps here at BYU. We're very excited, my staff's excited, and the coaches are tremendously excited. It did take a lot of work, from the President Worthen, the vice presidents, the President's Council, all of that, our doctors, Carolyn Billings with our sports medicine here, all of that working to come up with a plan that would work for us to meet the COVID protocols wherever they are at the time of the camps and to get everything ready. So everyone bought in, wanted to do it to get things back to normal as much as we could.
Vince, knowing how popular these camps are during the summer, what's the response been from Cougar fans now that the registration's been open since last month?
Yeah, we opened it April 15th, and Jason, the demand, the response has been tremendous. I was fairly optimistic that we would have a good response because we knew people were anxious to come back. Those that missed out last year that couldn't come, and those that just want to have some camp, some normalcy, and also just how great our teams have been this year. But even beyond my expectations, our demand has been more than really any other year. We've had to limit some camp numbers, limit a little bit of housing to make sure we're within the parameters that are set by the university and meeting the COVID guidelines that are out there. But even with that, we have so many people on wait lists, all of our camps. It is so wonderful to see Cougar Nation just coming and wanting to be a part of what's going on here.
BYU Sports Camp Administrator Vince Stroud with us on BYU Sports Nation. How fluid is the situation based on what feels like changing protocols by the day in terms of social distancing, masks, people being vaccinated? So how much of this are you managing in a very, what seems like fluid situation?
You're spot on there. It is fluid. And so, I have 2 to 3 meetings a week with different groups from internal to those external, and also a committee across the university of others that'll be doing summer programs for other audiences. And so with that, we can monitor and know exactly what's happening. But yes, hopefully, things continue to get better, and some of those restrictions that we have can perhaps even be loosened even more. But we're ready to roll as if camps were happening today with the protocols that we have, but we're prepared to adjust as we need to either way, if less restrictions or more restrictions come. So, and parents, the youth, definitely will do, what's been asked. They want to be here.
Vince, one of the camps that's getting a lot of buzz is actually a new camp, and it's the Girl Dad Camp. So that's something new this year. Give everybody an idea of what that is.
Yeah, that is great. I'm glad you brought that up. So for years we've done a father-son camp, and it's tremendously popular. Very, people, are anxious to get on that list and come to the camp, and so for a number of years we've had requests about a father-daughter or a girl-dad type of a camp, and so we've been working with our coaches, and last year, at the start of 2020, we had our women's volleyball, basketball, and cross-country track. Those coaches all got together and said, hey, we want to do this. We want to pull this off. And so we had a plan in place and open registration just a few weeks before everything was canceled. And so, but the response was pretty good. We were excited. And so this year we said, hey, let's do it again. And so the response has really been, more than we had anticipated for that as well. And we're just excited, Coach Olmstead, Coach Taylor with cross country, Coach Judkins with women's basketball. They're all bought in, and they'll have some of their players there. we'll do things that are different from our father-son camp, but it's going to model that, so that bond, that experience between a father and his daughter can be strengthened, and yet they can share some sports moments and also some hopefully spiritual or inspirational moments with each other. We just really have a great plan, and it's the first year. I mean, very rarely do we get a chance like this to just kick something off and hit it with a bang. And let me tell you, it will be a bang to start with.
Great stuff. Vince Stroud with us on BYU Sports Nation. Just because so many people are interested in the precautions and the restrictions that are in place right now, let's say hypothetically, if the camps were to start today on May 12th, what restrictions would camp goers be talking about?
So the biggest restrictions right now would still be the mask mandate. BYU still requires us to wear a mask on campus. And so when the campers wouldn't be in a sports or competition activity on the court or in the field, we would be asking them to wear a mask as they walk between buildings or when they're meeting in a room, and they would be wearing masks. And then also we would spread out. We would put them into what is considered cohorts, or for our sake, teams of 10 to 12, and those teams would then be spread out as they'd sit in a large group meeting, and we'll stagger the meals, and we'll have a few more of the meals that might not be in the Cannon Center, but that'll be a grab and go or an off-site meal away from that, so we can lessen the amount of traffic that goes through in one place and one time. And so those would probably be the biggest ones, as well as symptom checks, just like anyone that comes into one of our, sporting events. When we're allowing fans, you would have to do a symptom check, and, they will attest that they haven't been exposed in the past, 7 days and had no symptoms in the past 48 hours, and do those things so that we can try and monitor those that are coming in.
It's no secret that this is a great way to raise funds for the athletic department, and it's much needed after not having sports camps last year. But I want to focus on the psychological benefit that this brings specifically to the athletes that are involved in these camps. What does this do for BYU athletes when they have the opportunity to work with young kids in the sports that they train so hard in?
Oh, that's a great question. You really see these athletes show their genuine true side. They connect with these campers that come, whether it be on the soccer field, some of our women's soccer players out there with 7-year-old boys and girls, or on the football field, a star linebacker connecting with a junior football player, and helping them see and catch glimpses of what they can be. I think the student athletes, they remember that time fondly, and they want to give back. And it really, from as you mentioned, a psychological standpoint, they're looking outside themselves, and they're as I talk to them, some of them, I see myself in that boy or that girl, and so I want to be there. And I think it helps them, get back to those basics and stay in touch with, that inner drive and motivation, really to be the best. So we, from the coach standpoint, and also we have counselors that we employ that stay in the dorms with these campers that are in the housing, and they do activities with them, and they get a chance to share inspirational messages. And so that's something that they connect, and they have a chance to give and to serve. And we're actually still, hoping to hire a few more male counselors. So if there's any, recently returned missionaries out there that need a summer job for a week or two, go to our website and click on that. It's a fabulous chance, whether it's being a coach or a counselor, to connect with these young people, and some of them that are really searching and need role models, and be that for a week.
Well, I know Jason might be interested. He's not a recently returned missionary, but
all I know is my kids are super pumped that sports camps are back. They are already signed up and they're ready to go. They can't wait.
Vince, we're thrilled again. Thanks for taking some time to give us an insight into just how big of a project this is, and we're looking forward to a fantastic summer.
Well, I am too. Thank you so much for having me. It's great, guys. Appreciate what you do.
You got it. Vince Stroud on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how. BYU Sports Camp Administrator.